The podcast you're about to hear involves true stories, which may contain graphic content that is not suitable for children. Listener's discretion is advised. This is Esoteric Oddities.
Hey guys!
I've forgotten how to hey guys.
Hey guys. Yeah, we've actually been on break for a little bit longer than a week. It's been, I think, 3 weeks.
Jonathan is drinking water with salt in it because he's a salty bitch.
Hey, yeah.
So.
I'm going through a bit of the keto flu.
Don't you know? In this week's episode of What the Fuck?
Oh, God.
The Philadelphia Family Court has froze my bank account due to child support for a child
That you
I don't
have.
So I'm calling them. I'm trying to call customer service. They're not answering. So I walk to the Philadelphia Family Court. I'm like, hi, I don't know where I go. There's a hold on my account for a child I don't have. Like, can someone help me?
I just don't understand where the fuck they got your account information.
Same. Also, I had to like go through like airport security. That's what it looked like. They were like, put your phone in this bin
Right.
and your...
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Okay.
I had
Yikes.
to bail. I had to go through bail.
Yikes. The Kurt. So, I go in there and I go to the desk and I'm like, hi, like, you
What
guys
the fuck is
froze
that?
my bank account. Like, I don't even have a child. And she's like, well, fill out the paperwork. And I look at her and I'm like, what fucking paperwork? There's no case.
Right. Did you end up getting to the bottom of it? Mind y'all, this was yesterday.
I'll get there.
Oh, God,
Sir,
okay. This is the first scary story.
yeah, honestly, this is it.
Happy October, y'all.
Okay, honestly. So I was like, okay. I just looked at the paper and I was like, whatever the fuck. I'm not filling this out, but I'll pretend like I am. So she's like, do you have your ID? And I'm like, that's a funny story. No, I don't. And that's why I'm here, because I couldn't get my money out of the bank because I didn't have my ID. And then they told me that my account was on hold because of y'all. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, wait.
Can't they just like check the fucking computer and be like, does this person, like, is that a mistake that was made? Because regardless or not, if it's your account, if somebody comes in and says this is a mistake and they go on and they're just like, oh, this Sarah girl doesn't have to pay child support because she doesn't even have a fucking child.
And that's why I was so pissed off, because no one was willing to help me. So then, I had to turn up on them. So I did.
In family court.
In family court. So I went up there to the girl and she was like, you don't have an ID? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, it's in my other bag. Like, people do that. Y'all don't have 2 different wallets?
Oh my God, you're giving me PTSD of when that girl at the bar asked you for a second form of ID and then we got kicked out.
Yeah, well, I don't have one. And I was like, I have things with my name on it. Like, I have this like insurance card with my name on it.
To prove that it's you.
I have like my work cards with my name on it and a picture. Like,
hey,
and she's
it's
like,
me.
well, do you have an ID? And that's when I just, I stood up and I was like,
no, Sarah.
obviously not. Why would I know that I would have to bring an ID to family court for a child I don't have, for a hold on my account for a child I don't have? And she's like, well, we can't help you. And I'm like, what the fuck ever? So I go to walk out and the girl's like, ma'am, can I have the clipboard? I said, you can use the legs that you are blessed with and get your own fucking clipboard. And I walked out and she said, she'll be back. But plot twist,
oh God.
I called my bank and they were like, you don't have a hold on your account. We don't see a hold. So I will not be back, bitch.
A round of applause. Baby, make that ass clap.
And that's what I did.
Wow.
Jonathan was like, I don't think it's open. And I said, I'm going in there.
Okay, well, I was like, dude, just check, because like I'm not trying to have you go there and have it be closed. We're rocking the same hairstyle today, except I told Sarah I look like somebody put me in a bag and like shook it
Shook
up.
me up. It really does look like that. No, I'm just kidding. You're right. It looks like you have bedhead.
I do. I didn't even bother.
No, don't. You're home.
It's 1:00 in the afternoon, y'all. Wait, what was I gonna say? Fuck, what was I gonna say? The trips. I just no. I just don't understand how that happens. Like, how do you fuck up somebody's putting a hold on somebody's bank?
Okay, for a child they don't have,
through something that like a court
and like
system.
The thing was, they like confirmed as my account because they brought up my escrow account with Sam, my old roommate, and they were like, do you know a Sam? So like, it was my account.
Right. What the fuck? Did you take a screenshot of it, or do you have any?
No.
Oh, so it's like it never happened. Ooh. It is haunted bank account. Ooh, you had a haunted hold. What if it never happened? And everybody there is like, that bitch was crazy. What if it was all in your head? I'm not gaslighting you. It wasn't. It really happened to you.
Gaslighting me. I'm an idiot and I don't even see that as gaslighting. I'm like, oh, what if that happens? Like, what the fuck? I'll believe anything.
You gullible gilly.
Okay, I'm a gullible gup.
So since we've been gone,
Wow, we have a lot to say.
Yeah, Sarah went on vacation, and then immediately after I went on vacation, had a big change in my life. We're not going to talk about it.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, in the long run, it will be a good thing. Right now,
So I went to New Orleans and I ate all
good old
food.
Nola.
I ate all the good food.
Oh my god, tell me about give me one
so
dish.
I did shrimp and grits for one. I'm gluten free, but I fucked myself up. Anyway,
with the grits. Oh.
Okay, but
See,
the grits were like in this like triangle block. My girlfriend got the catfish, but I'm glad I didn't because it has a really fishy taste.
Yeah, catfish is like the one fish that tastes like a fish.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't like this. I'm really glad I didn't get it. But the fish and grits, ooh. And then I had a shrimp po' boy, and I had this like gumbo.
Oh, dude, I can't eat carbs.
I'm
Why did
sorry.
I ask you to describe the food?
Okay.
I think like deep down I was like, give me a meal.
Right. Give me a meal. And then we did like a bunch of. We rented this boat. It was like a swan paddle boat. That was really fun. We watched the sunset.
Oh, cute. On the paddle boats?
Yeah.
Romantical.
Okay. What else?
Did you go to Bourbon Street?
Oh yeah, we were like on Bourbon Street like all the time.
Because you guys were walking around a lot.
Yeah.
You just kind of like happen.
It's
in the
like,
middle of.
Yeah, you just get there.
Bourbon Street, isn't it fucking huge?
Yeah, and also it's clean.
Oh.
It was clean when I went.
Oh.
I wore open-toed shoes the whole time.
We went around the same time because I went 2 years ago I guess it was early August. It was when the eclipse happened because the eclipse happened when I was on the plane and I thought we were going to go down. I had a panic attack. I had a whole meltdown.
Wait, why?
In the airport for work when I was coming back, and then because I thought the eclipse was going to like kill us because my ex-boyfriend's sister was like mentioning that it might fuck up.
There's a woman turning butter on the...
Literally, I was like, if it's my time, like this is it. But
honestly, we had a really good time. It was a great group. I have a little story. My girlfriend bought this like negativity ring from Marie Laveau's shop.
Okay.
That shit broke in half.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
It was $3.
Okay.
But it broke in half.
Oh no. Is that a sign?
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you have fun.
I did. The group was great. We laughed a lot. I had a really good time.
I love laughing. LOL.
I was high most of the time and really drunk, so...
Yeah, Kiko told me you guys drank a lot.
A lot.
A lot. Dude, that's what happens down there. Like, you get fricked in the dick.
And we were all the time. I feel like...
I went on like a family trip and I got like fucked up the whole time.
And we went to get beignets. What is it? No.
Beignet.
Oops. Oops. Too soon.
Hi, I'd like a beignet. You like basically took like a beignet, and like a bidet.
Okay.
Oh my god, I can't either. Well, then I went on vacation, kind of near you, not quite, but like a couple states over.
I was confused. You were popping up all over the place.
Yeah, we went everywhere. We were in mostly Hilton Head Island, and then we went to Georgia. We went to Savannah.
That looked really pretty.
It was really fun.
So did you like stay in Savannah for one night?
No, we had like this amazingly, like, I don't know how we scored this, but I think we did. Literally, we booked this trip like last Christmas.
Oh, that's why.
We had like a penthouse in an apartment complex in Hilton Head, right on the beach.
Oh, I love that.
So we would just like wake up, walk downstairs, and like be on the beach.
Oh,
and then one day we took a day trip to Savannah, which was so fun. I would say maybe like 2-3 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
I think. I don't remember. It was from Savannah, but from Hilton Head to here, it was like a 14-hour drive.
Oh.
But we've done that before. When I was
I feel
younger,
like y'all always drive instead of taking a plane.
We usually don't, but when we were younger, it was a lot cheaper because it would be like we would go from Illinois to Pennsylvania and then back, and we did that once a year for 9 years.
Right. Oh, so
like,
that's like the 14-hour drive. You're used to.
And it was 14. It was probably more than that because when we were little, we had to like stop a lot.
I knew the man.
For real. But the last time we took a trip together was 2007 when we drove back, because it was like when we moved back, we just never drove together again.
Right.
But it was a lot to be in a car for that long, and not like, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't really prepare myself that much.
Being in the car is brutal.
I ended up writing a lot. I ended up reading a lot.
How do you read in the car?
I can't read a book, but I can read on my phone. So I was like reading digital like ebooks and stuff. I listened to some podcasts, which was great. I had a nice little playlist. But Savannah was probably my favorite. I scouted out all of the haunted places. Literally, I sat outside on our porch with my White Claw, and
you basic bitch.
shut the fuck up. And I looked up all of the haunted places and like allegedly haunted places, because I didn't want to do a haunted tour.
Yeah, you wanted to,
because like we had like a day to do that, to go there, and I know like my parents and my brother were down for doing like whatever I wanted to do, because it was mostly like the haunted shit they're like interested in, but like nobody would be like, let's do a haunted tour, but I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I just looked up all the stuff
like quick.
Right. So I looked up all the haunted places, and I made a list. I actually made a Google like trip thing, so it like can advise you, like that's what we did in Iceland. It can like tell you like where to go and how, like the fastest routes to shit. And I kind of knew some of the history. I looked up a lot of the history, but I knew some of the history because Graveyard Girl, Bunny Myers, she went like years and years and years ago.
That.
And I remember watching it in like 2012 and being like, oh my God.
Oh, is that why you added her?
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, because she went to the Moon River Brewing Company, which is where I went, and I asked the waiter, apparently, like, it's allegedly very haunted, and
that brewery?
Yeah, because it was like, it was one of the first hotels. It was actually, I think, the first hotel.
Yeah, it's like that one story you did, remember? With the guy, and it was like a bar, and like the basement was like,
oh yeah, Music World or
yeah,
some shit.
Exactly.
Why the fuck don't we remember? We like just did that. Anyway, Bose.
I mean, I know it's because I smoke weed. I don't know about you.
I have
shit for brains.
I do have shit for brains. List. I can't remember shit anymore. It's kind of scary.
Okay, I feel that. Like, this is just life as I know it. Like, people tell me they forget things, and I'm like, it's because I smoke weed. But then, like, you, not an avid weed smoker, forget things. So I'm like, what does it matter?
Listen.
But anyway.
No, for like that's so for real, because I'll be forgetting like shit, and I have a good memory.
You do.
A long-term memory. Like I can remember shit in my childhood,
Same.
which probably I should forget. Anyway, let's not get into that. What was I saying? Oh, Savannah, the Moon River Brewing, like it has history. Like,
I love that.
They had like the Civil War and shit there, and like the graveyard that is there is so fucking beautiful. But the graves themselves are like you can't believe what you read on it, like the dates, because the fucking Confederate soldiers were staying there, and they actually like dug up the bodies from the mausoleums, like kind of legally, like that's where they were placed. There was nowhere for them to go.
Isn't bodies placed in mausoleums? The
mausoleum itself had like stairs that go down, so they would go down, pull the bodies out, and then a bunch of people would stay in there for the night. It was like what they had to do, because there was just like a bunch of fucking people everywhere, and there's a whole wall. It is honestly so fucking sad. There's an entire wall where there's just graves leaning up against this brick wall, and nobody knows where the graves are because they got displaced. And then there was also,
what the fuck?
There was like a flood, there was a massive fire, there was like all this shit that happened. So like the graveyard's beautiful, but who knows if the bodies are where they're supposed to be. But also the entire town is basically a graveyard. Like anywhere you go is pretty much bodies are down, because they had the fucking yellow fever that was there.
Right, so they just had to bury people.
I think it might have been thousands of people just like dropped in like the same area. What? Yeah, can you imagine? Oh my God. Really... The dude who was our waiter at the Moon River Brewing, he said he didn't have any experiences, but he like grabbed one of the fellow waiters who told us his experiences, and
I love that.
He like didn't like to talk about it. I was like, because you know how if people work there, you know, people are going to come in and ask if it's haunted and
right,
shit.
So it's just like,
so I feel like a lot of the times I feel like it's one of the things that draw people there. So it's like, oh yeah, let me like spice it up. I'm your waiter. I'll get like a good tip out of telling a good story. True. But the one guy like didn't want to talk about it. He was just like, he like gave us the short facts, and like we asked him a couple questions, and he was like standoffish, like it kind of fucked him up. And I was like, oh shit, like I thought it was gonna be like, oh yeah, it's all spooky ghost, right. And he was just like, I've been touched in the basement. Oh, that sounded really, but that wasn't
right.
Like
okay.
I'm just gonna. So anyway,
I'm like the fucking DJ scratch.
What? The needle or not the needle. Yeah, fuck my asshole. So Savannah was fun. I highly suggest everybody go there. If you want my list of haunted places and food and shit. Oh my god! Speaking of food,
what did you eat?
When we were in Savannah, I had catfish and grits. Listen, nobody hold this against me. The gravy was not vegetarian. There wasn't meat in it, but it was not meat. And I was like, I can either eat around this or I can like indulge.
Okay,
and
did you indulge?
Your bitch indulged. It was cool. It was a fun experience. Then we went to Charleston. I've been to Charleston before. It was beautiful. It was fun. And yeah. Well, guys, hi. Happy October. If you're listening to this when this comes out, it's October, which means y'all sent in some stories and we're going to frickin' read them to you.
Frickin' frick. This story is from Chris from Maryland. Shout out to Chris. Thank you for sharing. Chris says, first of all, let me tell you guys that I'm not a huge believer in the paranormal, but I am open-minded. I know that it's impossible, improbable, and arrogant to believe we have everything in this universe we live in totally figured out.
Right. I feel the same way about like aliens and UFOs.
Yeah, there's got to be things we do not know. Right. He says, however, I think most of the time things can be explained. For me to have an experience and believe it's paranormal, it has to be blatantly obvious and completely baffle my mind as to any plausible explanation.
Mm-hmm. So like healthy skeptic.
Right. This is one of those times. It was about 3 years ago. Me, my son, and daughter and their mom were visiting my mother at her house. We all had fun, it got late, and it was time to go to bed. So me and my son slept on the couch, and my daughter and her mom slept on a different pull-out bed we had right next to the couch where me and him were sleeping. I'm a night owl, so they all fall asleep first, and I followed a couple hours later. Now, before I really get into it, let me give you some relevant information on my daughter. She is a wild sleeper. Since I'm always up way later than everybody else, I've been up multiple times to witness her do and say weird shit in her sleep. There was nothing that dropped my jaw or made me think it was anything past just normal little kid who's a wild sleeper. The most abnormal times would be her just fully sitting up in bed out of nowhere and speaking random gibberish for a few minutes. That's fucking scary. He's like, no big deal.
Well, sometimes people talk in their sleep.
Yeah, but just like sit up in your bed. Like I could deal with
and like speak in tongues.
Okay. That's a little demonish for me.
Dr. Phil.
You could clearly tell that she was still sleeping and completely incoherent. I would let her be so she could get comfortable and lay back down how she wanted to. But if she took long, I'd lay her back down myself. She never woke up once during the multiple times that this happened. Okay, now back to us all asleep at my mom's house. I finally doze off, but awake maybe a few hours later, thirsty as hell, so I decide to go get a drink. All the lights are off and it's almost pitch black except for a few blinking lights from different electronic devices. In order to get into the kitchen, you have to go down a hallway past 3 rooms. One is the laundry room, so I get up and start walking. As I'm passing the open laundry room, for some reason, something caught the corner of my eye in pitch black. Okay, I just want to tell you.
Oh, God.
I can't count how many times I see things out of the corner of my eye.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And I'm like, is this real? Did I see that? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? I don't know.
And then when you like turn to look at it, it's like gone.
It's gone. Not there.
Oh, God.
It's freaky. And I'm like,
you have me on this cliffhanger. I want to hear what this fucking...
Right. Okay. He said I squinted my eyes to focus and saw that it was my daughter.
Oh.
She was standing up with her back against the laundry machine with her head down and her long hair dangling at the sides. It looked exactly like what she does
from The Ring.
All the time when she sits up in bed, but it is still totally out of it. Okay. She reminds me of the girl from Hereditary. That's what he's explaining right now.
Oh, I didn't see Hereditary still. I know. You would think.
Okay, well, if you don't go out tonight, you need to watch it. It was really weird to me, and even though she has never gone full sleep, like, what did he say, full out sleepwalking, I thought that this wasn't out of the realm of possibility and just might be one of the rare occurrences. So I say her name and attempt to softly wake her up to go back to bed, but she's still standing there totally out of it. So I cover the maybe 7 to 8 feet between me and her to grab her shoulder and guide her to go back to bed, but she's still standing there totally out of it.
They say don't wake people who...
Right.
Well, she's like a little girl. But also Macbeth.
Okay. As I go to grab her, my sense of touch anticipates the contact between my hand and her shoulder. Only there was none. My fucking hand touched absolutely nothing. Mind you, this is still in the pitch black. I screamed the most confused, scared, and panicked scream while jumping/running back as far away as I could while I fumbled and found the light switch. Soon as I hit the light switch, I looked and there was nothing there. Nothing. Just as the light turned on in the room from dark to light, the fucking thing disappeared with it.
Ew.
My stomach hit the floor. I was terrified.
I have like goosebumps.
Okay. The scream woke my kids and my wife up, who was still asleep at the time all this was happening, maybe 15 to 10 feet away. I ran over to her and cut the light on in the room. She asked me what the hell is wrong and why I'm screaming in a panic, and I fumble with my words to tell her what happened. Right then, as I'm talking to her, I noticed my daughter sound asleep right next to her with the cover slightly tucked over her head.
She was never in the laundry room.
He said. I was dumbfounded. Till this day, I try to make sense of it, to try to shrug it off as something else, but I cannot. I remember every detail of that whole event so vividly, and I was not asleep because I was up walking and clearly remember everything from start to finish. I have never before or since ever experienced anything so terrifying and unexplainable. It makes me shiver just typing and reminiscing about this.
Ew, I have the goosebumps on my legs now.
So that was Chris's story from Maryland.
Oh, Chris, thanks for letting us share your story. That's horrifying.
That's scary as shit.
I've never come in like contact with anything like that, but I also understand how that can be something like, who do you tell that to?
Okay, to like make sense of anything.
Yeah, like people are gonna come to the same assumptions
like, well, you need help.
That he was trying to, that like you must have been half asleep.
Okay, you already know.
Which, I mean, I'm not discrediting him, but could have been a possibility, but also like, that's just not like a typical story that you're gonna share at like a
Also, I feel like because it didn't go away instantly, that's like he like had time. Like he was sitting there and he was watching her. He put his arm out. Like normally when I see things at the corner of my eye, it's like a real quick, you know. But like,
yeah, fucking weird, scary shit. Thanks for letting us share, Chris. So this is coming from Courtney. Courtney says, hi, just wanted to say quickly that I absolutely love the podcast. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks for listening. As I grew up, me and my mom have always been very susceptible to ghosts and spirits. I chose to tell 2 stories. One is my most prominent ghost story, and the second is my dad's creepiest story. Ooh. The names have been changed for privacy reasons. Thank you. We have a family friend named Heather. Heather and my mom were really close, and we always grew up around her and her family. When I was around 2 or 3, Heather's sister had died of a drug overdose. It was sudden and very hard for the family to deal with. We had a memorial service, and after, a bunch of people gathered at Heather's house to hang out and drink. All the adults were downstairs in the finished basement, and I, being only 2, was playing upstairs in Heather's daughter's room. There were only 3 people upstairs. Me, Heather's husband, and their daughter, who was only a few months old and taking a nap in her crib. My mom says I came running down the stairs crying hysterically. She picked me up and asked me what was wrong, but I was so upset that I didn't want to talk. She held me for about 15 minutes, asking every once in a while what was wrong, me still not wanting to respond. After 20 minutes had passed and I had seemed to calm down significantly, she asked me once again. I said, "The lady upstairs is being mean to me and not letting me play with the toys."
Not the lady upstairs. Who?
Keep in mind, the only people upstairs were me, the man, and a baby. No woman. My mom was confused, but figured I was just being imaginative. A few minutes later, I started to get upset again and would look at the stairs. I told my mom that she was back. When she asked me where she was, I pointed to the stairs. Of course, there was no one there. Everyone was obviously really freaked out at this child who was pointing at and playing with an imaginary woman. I'm not laughing at you,
Courtney, but I'm just...
Right, that the situation is just
because everyone's always like, it's nothing, she's a child. Like,
and then it's right there. So of course, there was no... Oh, I already said that. My mom says that eventually I perked up again and I told her I was going back upstairs to play with the lady.
No!
Courtney, come on, girl, don't do that.
No, right.
My mom has told me that story all my life, and to this day, we believe it to be Heather's sister.
Why was she being mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Ooh, maybe she was like giving a warning or something. I don't know. But that's interesting to think about depending on what your beliefs are. But if you believe in a sense that, you know, spirits linger, that very well could have been her. Another thought is like, you give, and I've said this before on the podcast, but like, you give, energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
No, you give it.
So if you give energy to something, it can kind of like make it bigger and
manifest. It could come to fruition. It could build.
Mm-hmm. So not only in a negative sense, like if you're playing with a Ouija board or something, but in this sense where like if there's a group of people mourning in the house, that, I mean, I don't know where this girl passed away. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of personal energy. It's a lot of people thinking about, remembering, celebrating this one person's life. And it's, you know, in my head, it's extremely possible that that life force is like getting more energy than usual to then manifest or, you know, show itself to children. And I really do think children who they like haven't been tainted by
the media,
society,
and everything else.
And
I think like a third eye is real,
yeah,
but I think that society
changes how, like, none of this, and I don't want to like totally change everything, but like as an adult, you kind of like wake up, you have your day-to-day life, you have your responsibilities, you have your bills to pay, but the larger picture is like we have created this society for ourselves, so like this isn't what we're meant to be here for.
Exactly.
Like this is like rules and stuff we set ourselves up for, and that like children, you don't understand that. You have like such a different,
you have an imagination.
You have an imagination that,
and I'm not saying the imagination like makes things not there. Right. I think it like it's like it hasn't a different world.
Tainted. And I think like that as human beings, we're kind of meant to continue to have that.
Yeah.
And I think we
get it stripped every time.
Yeah, we lose ourselves along the way. So that's
with
why
TV, media, a lot of YouTube videos,
so many distractions. I mean, a lot of them obviously important, right. Like. I'm not even going to get into it because this is going to change the direction, and that's not what I'm saying. And I feel like everybody who's listening isn't going to disagree. Oh, I shouldn't assume that, but that's just like my thoughts is like when ghosts appear to children, it's like it's
almost like I would believe that over.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Like if a child has like an imaginary friend, I'm like,
it's a ghost.
Right. Y'all saw fucking Roanoke, American Horror Story. What's good? Also, I was babysitting. I think I did tell this story. I'm going to say that so many times, but my memory, it's going.
Same.
I think I told the story where I was babysitting my cousin's daughter, and she had a imaginary friend with a very unusual name. I forget what her name was, but it was like very, very unusual, like something I had never heard of.
Yeah, because it's a real person.
Right. And then
kids don't just like make up that shit.
And the dog started going crazy when I was babysitting, and I remember my cousin telling me things would happen in the house, but it would be like things would be taken or things would be moved or things she wasn't allowed to play with would be in the middle of the floor, and it was just like I don't want to like say my cousin's name, but like she was like, so, what is this? And then the little girl, my little cousin's daughter, would blame it on her imaginary friend. So she was like, and she would like cry sometimes, be like, I swear it wasn't me, it was like her. And then, you know, my cousin wasn't buying it. She was like, come on, like I told you, don't fucking play with that. Right. But you're blaming somebody who doesn't exist. So when I was over there babysitting, she was like, hey, Laika, that was her name.
Laika? No,
just Laika. She was like, can Laika come over? Like Laika's gonna come over and play. And I was just like, oh, maybe not today. Like she's more than welcome to like
come over another time, but I don't want to ghost time here.
Right. And then the fucking dog ate the wallpaper off of it, like ripped the wall, like took a bite out of the wallpaper. No, bit through the paint. There was wallpaper like under it or something, and then ran with it. And so like the bottom of the wall was just like torn. And I was like, what's going on? I need to get out of
walls.
Here. They had
like us in the walls.
Oh my God, what if she was?
I'm saying.
What if she's buried in the walls?
Okay. That was like that one movie. They were buried in the walls.
Oh my God. Which one?
I forget.
Oh my God. Oh, the Massachusetts story or something like that?
I think so. And it was like, there was all these skeletons in the walls.
Or like a Connecticut story. Or
something like that. But they were buried in the walls.
Yeah, that's some scary shit. But they did have really good snacks. I love when you babysit and there's like, the family's got good snacks. They're like, help yourself. And it's like, don't mind if I diddly do.
I was going to anyway.
Okay, so here is Courtney's last story she's sharing with us. It's her dad's story. She says, when my dad was around 19, he was home alone. Okay, already off to a good start.
Okay.
He was leaning out of his bedroom bedroom window while the sun was setting and smoking. Now, to clarify, he was not smoking weed or anything to impair his judgment. It was just a normal cigarette. I've clarified this face every time he tells me the story. My dad's old house was placed in front of some woods. In the woods, there was a railroad track, and a few miles back, there was an abandoned stage. It was known around his high school that people would go there to perform satanic rituals and known to be occult meeting spots.
No, that's how you know. That's how you know.
My dad was leaning out of his window, smoking a cigarette, when he heard chants. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. He describes it almost like an army commander. One person would shout something, then a large crowd of people would repeat it. He couldn't remember what they were saying or couldn't make it out, but he thinks it had something to do with the military. Keep in mind, we live in a small town just next to Flint, Michigan. There are no military bases or anything like that near us, nor would they choose some random woods to be in. Dad says they chanted for a while, but the chanting kept getting louder and louder, almost as if it was traveling along the abandoned railroad tracks.
Look at that.
That ran past his house. Ew.
Ooh.
Okay. Eventually, it got really loud to the point where it sounded like they were right outside his fucking window.
Not the window.
He then described it as...
I'm good.
Right? Like, I'm okay. I don't want to join your call. Thank you for the invite. He then described it like a gust of wind hitting him in the face, and then the sound retreated in the other direction so quickly, like it was never there. I make my dad tell me this story all the time because it's so creepy. If you knew my dad, you would know he's not one to lie or exaggerate or even believe in things like this. Oh. Hold on, wait, let me just read the rest of it. I hope these were interesting enough to share. I have a bunch more less significant ones, but it's very late and I have school tomorrow. So if you would like to hear the rest, just let me know and I will gladly share them with you. Again, I love the podcast. Have been a long-time listener, XOXO Courtney. Thank you so much, Courtney. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much for your support and sharing your stories.
Get to bed and stay in school.
Okay.
And what the fuck, Dad?
And get straight A's.
And I'm glad your dad didn't open his door to see the cult. That's scary.
Oh my God, I would never have. I'm like...
That's trippy.
People who open doors, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's like, it's one thing to like see some shit, like a cult
here,
coming.
I don't like that.
But like, was it a haunted ass cult or what? Like, what the fuck?
Why was there like
why did he see
hundreds
shit?
Of people
That's
chanting.
what I'm saying. Oh, I love a good cult story. That's scary.
Super spooky.
We would love to hear more of it, Courtney. Depending on how many stories we're getting, I would love to fucking hear them anyway.
I want to hear more
Seriously,
anyway.
send that shit into us. Also, anybody listening, make sure you send us your stories.
Yes,
and
please.
also send us your fucking dad stories, your ugly friend stories, anybody's
Honestly,
stories.
Anybody. We need stories.
Yeah, just make sure you get their permission first. And when sending in, send your name, where you're from, and if you want to remain anonymous, that is totally fine. We respect that.
Let us know.
And now it is time for our guests,
Dennis and Hilary.
And we are here with Dennis and Hilary. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. I'm trying to think of how we met. I know we met through...
Chris.
Yeah, I met
We
your
met
brother.
through my brother, but I don't actually remember meeting you guys.
We were hung out
We're all
mostly.
like, I don't know.
It was on Myrtle Beach when we hung out down there.
No,
I think that was the most I hung out with you.
Okay, yeah, so that was when we but we knew each other before that, yeah?
Yeah.
I just don't
Yes.
remember when it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
No,
I'm sure we just went out a few times.
We have a solid friendship foundation. It's
Yeah, we
fine.
know.
It's a
Everything's
very specific
fine.
story. It brings up a lot of
Snuck in
memories.
there, right? Like-
But now
I
they're...
see you multiple times a week at this point. So
Right,
it's-
exactly, because now they are my neighbors. They live right up the street, right up a fucking massive ass San Francisco style hill. It's fine. I come into your front door like dripping sweat. It's all good.
We prefer
though.
houses on hills.
Yeah.
I love that. And the last one's on the left.
Aha, spooky reference. So I don't know what stories we're about to get into today. I have told them both to refrain from telling me the stories, so this is the first time I'm hearing this shit. Where do we want to start? Do you have a story together? Do you have individual stories? Take us there.
We do have a couple of stories together, and then Dennis refused to tell me his other stories. So
this is your first time too.
Yeah, so I actually don't know what he's gonna say.
You know the story, but I don't think I told you what I was gonna tell.
So exciting.
Well, we went on this really big road trip right after we got married, and we had a couple of weird things happen to us on that trip, and I think we did a whole circle of the country in like a Nissan.
Y'all fucking travel a lot.
We do. But I think the first weird thing we came across was in, where were we? West Virginia.
It was West Virginia. This is the woods you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Not the fucking woods. Okay.
Yeah, some state park out there. I don't know.
Oh no!
Oh my god, we know about
we don't
state
do
parks.
state parks.
We don't do state parks. There's always someone going missing in state park.
I'm telling you, like, we covered, like, I think we did 2 whole episodes where we talked about people who go missing, and like technically the rules are different there. Where like you don't have to report people missing. So we're always
that
like,
weird?
Isn't that weird?
Somehow to get away with murder shit.
It's like a
In
federal law that you don't have to report people missing.
There's this guy who wrote all these. He was like an ex, like trooper or something there, whatever they are, and he was talking about all these people were going missing, and there was like no paperwork for any of them, and like apparently like they wanted to like dust their hands of anything, and it just like weird shit was happening, people just going missing in really mysterious ways. There's like a whole, Ricky was actually the one who told me about it, and there's like a whole like not like a whole series of books of people reported, and then if you look it up on Wikipedia, the list is insane.
It's, like,
and it keeps going, and people are either found dead or never found again. No offense to national parks.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the nature out there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like beautiful, but like you might die.
Actually, that day it was pretty gross.
Pouring
it was
rain.
pouring rain and really, really foggy.
Oh, so spooky as
So
motherfucking
spooky.
hell.
This isn't
Fog.
straight up like Appalachia. It's
Oh,
out
God.
there. Yeah.
Okay. So what happens?
And so we're hiking to the top of this. It's supposed to be a lookout, but we don't really have a whole lot of information on it. And we found the trail we kind of thought was going to lead us to it. And we've been on it for maybe an hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
We're quite a few miles in. And we did end up finding the lookout first, but then the trail kept going. And it was, I mean, the rain had kind of like lightened up a little bit. And so we decided to just keep walking.
Oh, God.
Which was probably ill-advised. I think the turnaround point probably should have been the overlook.
Yeah.
Right.
Which we couldn't see anything in because it was foggy as fuck.
Yeah, it's never like the river and shit because it's along the Monongahela or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
yeah,
I'm like,
it's a river through West Virginia.
Monongahela.
Monongahela, yeah.
He
It's
says
where-
it like he didn't have to practice pronouncing it
Yeah.
when we first read it.
You know, Three River Stadiums in Pittsburgh. One of the 3 rivers is the Monongahela.
oh,
One more
okay.
time. Just say it one more time.
Monongahela.
I love that. Okay. You should call this episode Monongahela.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get the spelling on that. Jesus Christ. So
we
you're walking past the point of no return.
past the point of no return. And then by
It's
then all the
foggy.
other people that were kind of hiking, there were very few of them, but they had all trickled off. No one was still walking.
Yeah, we were alone.
And we were definitely pretty alone. And
Okay.
we hiked maybe another mile out, and then there was like a clearing, and then the trail continued on the other side. So we started walking out, and then all of a sudden we kind of see these things in the middle of this clearing.
Oh, God.
What was it, Dennis?
It was like 3 or 4 just decapitated and gutted like deer.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like half rotted too. It
But
was
they were
just,
all in a circle.
yeah,
Like position.
They were,
just laying there. Yeah,
They were all
so
like in a circle. There were 4 on 4 different
Throw that
sides.
deer in a circle.
Okay, so what is your reaction when you fucking see that?
well, I thought it was like a poach or something like that. Someone's like hunting deer, but there was
Not in
nothing.
a circle.
But like they're like some of them had their heads still, like their antlers weren't cut off, they weren't skinned,
So,
they were
like,
just like gutted, and like so I'm like, is it bears? But like it's like they're laying around.
Yeah,
like,
but they
it
looked
was
like
just-
placed, so it didn't look like a wild animal attack. There wasn't
Yeah.
like flesh everywhere. It was just, they were just like gutted and then like
Laying there.
Yeah.
Ew.
It was so weird, and I kind of got this like cold chill
Yeah.
all over.
Girl, that is your intuition saying
Get out.
GTFO.
It was So
Right.
Now, how long had they looked like they'd been there? Like, was it like heavily decomposed, or was it like that whoever put that there might still be like lingering in the woods behind a tree watching you?
I don't like that.
I don't know if it was that
It
fresh.
it didn't look fresh, but it wasn't like decomposing yet. They were just like dead for at least like a day or something. It was just not recent, but it was just like
Recent enough where it could have been like
Someone's
yesterday.
coming back.
yeah, right. Like enough that it's.
And we were there on like a Monday or something weird.
It was in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
It was just like a normal day.
Weird.
Yeah.
Witchcraft weekend.
I love a
And
witchcraft.
there was some bones though too. Like it was such a mix of shit. Like it was just what the fuck happened? Dude, whatever went down, these people just like fucked these deers in whatever way, right? Like it was just torn up
And
like,
didn't take the antlers, which is weird.
Yeah, right, because that would be like one of the things.
Right, or if it was like the head, like maybe stick it on a fucking wall, but like if they
Right.
weren't all
Taxidermy.
decapitated.
And I think the ones that were like there was like only one or two that didn't have their heads, but it wasn't like a clean cut, right? Like it was just like
scissors.
yeah, it was like been hacked off. So like
So weird.
it was so weird.
And it was so deep in the wood. And then there was a private property line pretty close
I don't
to the other, to the other side.
So then you have to wonder, like, just maybe, I don't know what deer hearts look like or like deer kidneys, but would it be possible? I guess, I don't know if you guys know what it looked like, but like, what if somebody did that just to get like organs for the black market or something? I mean, that's my
Oh
thought.
my
If
God.
they're gutted, who knows? And then they left all the rest of the shit. What if they?
In a circle.
But if a deer heart doesn't look like a human heart, then like
Right.
then
I'm
that's
sure you'll
probably not
know.
that plausible. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think logically. Like, and also, what if all those people who we're talking about that went missing in the woods, like, what if they came across something weird like this too, and then just like went missing?
Yeah, I wonder if any
Right.
of your listeners have ever come across something like that. Does anybody know why?
Yeah,
Let
y'all,
us know.
please email us odditiespodcast@gmail.com. What the
Why
fuck
someone
you're
would
finding
just
in the
get a
woods?
deer? Because we have like I've done so many weird Google searches trying to figure
Why
out.
are deers in a circle gutted?
It was so
Right.
bizarre. It was just there was no logic to it, and we were kind of like,
Oh,
It didn't make sense.
that
it didn't
makes
make
me
any
uncomfortable.
sense. So we got the fuck out of there.
I would too. I would be checking the fuck behind me. Oh no!
We
you?
did hike back very quickly, I think.
Yeah, no, we definitely said this is weird. Let's just leave, and we just turned around there.
Did
Yeah,
you
like-
take any pictures of it?
No,
No! I'm ready to get the fuck ASAP.
I didn't even think about that. That never even crossed my mind.
Okay, taking
Yeah,
a picture.
Yeah.
You're weird.
I would probably vlog it and be like, oh, look
Look
at
at what I found.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we did
fucking
not even
weird.
think about it.
No.
We probably should have. It
Yeah.
was so bizarre.
It was so weird. I'd never seen anything like that.
There was one really cool thing though, is there were a bunch of crows, which has probably nothing to do with anything else other than
Never
there's just a
know.
lot of crows there.
A murder of crows.
But that was like
It just
eerie
made it
as
like,
shit,
and it's foggy and it's raining in the middle of the fucking woods, y'all.
Decapitated
Y'all are really like
deers.
downplaying how horrifying
Okay,
and
they're like,
creepy
it
that
was fine. We just got out of
We
there.
just power walked back. It was beautiful.
it's where you like shut down and you're like, okay, let's
This is
just
weird, but
and you
I'm
like
gonna go.
focus and you get out
Survival
of there.
mode.
Yeah.
I don't have a good survival tactic. I freeze.
You would not do well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
if anybody out there knows why the fuck someone would just do that, just let us know. Or it could have been a satanic cult thing. That's
I'm
what
thinking
my
it was a
mind is
cult.
going
Right.
to. We were all thinking it. I guess I'll say it. But fuck.
It did look very ritualistic.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why it was so
Culty,
creepy. Is
like-
because it looked like intentional.
There's a movie on Netflix, The Ritual.
The ritual.
The
Crazy
one guy
shit.
looks just like Tom, and I'm mad because I took a picture of it and I sent it to Tom and he never texted me back. But he looks just like Tom, and it's like around like the same types of shit. That's kind of what I had in my head when you guys were talking, where like they found these animals that were, I mean, I'm not going to ruin the movie or anything, but they were finding animals like ripped open in the trees. So they were like, how the fuck did that happen like up there? But
there.
it's
Is that
like,
the one with the 4 guys in the woods? Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's creepy.
And there's
That was
like all
good.
this stuff hanging. Yeah.
yeah, I
have
enjoyed
seen
it.
that.
It was entertaining, but
Watch it.
The Ritual, not sponsored. Okay, what else you got? Do you have any more creepy stories together? Wait, did you guys like not talk about that after? Because I feel like that's something I might be like, okay, that happened, but like let's
not
not
speak.
talk about it.
I don't think we talked about it till we got back in the car.
No.
We straight up just like head down hiked back because we had like 5 miles to go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was out there.
We were pretty far out
Oh my
there.
God,
And that was
imagine
what's
if you
weird,
got
it's so
lost
deep
all the
in
way
the
back.
woods, right? Like it was, I don't know.
I don't like
I would
that
have gotten
shit.
lost. I can't even get back to a crowd
Yeah.
at a concert. If I leave you, I'm like, I'm lost.
They find you the next morning. You're like, I don't know. I made friends.
Yeah, same.
You want to tell them about South Dakota?
Oh God, what's South Dakota?
Well, we were up at like, we wanted to go see Rushmore at like sunrise, right? And this is the middle of summer, so it was like 4 a.m. that we decided to get up.
Oh.
And we're driving through the Black Forest out there,
no.
which is beautiful, right? But it's out in the
Gorgeous.
western hills of South Dakota, and I don't know, it was around sunrise, but just all of a sudden the sky just lit up green for a couple of seconds, and then just stopped. I don't know.
Wait,
What?
hold on. Lit up green?
Yeah,
like,
it just flashed green, and then just like,
And not like a nature green, like a neon green.
whole sky, yeah.
It was very bizarre.
is the Blackwood Forest a national?
Park.
Is that
National
national?
Forest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course it is. I'm not surprised.
Another situation happening in a national forest. Okay,
Drinks
thoughts.
water.
What do you...
Yeah, what do you think it is?
So, hold on. So, like a split second kind of like lightning-ish?
Not a little longer though. Actually, that was the thing. It was more like a bright glow. The whole sky just lit, and then
And it was just
like
like,
a pulse.
yeah.
Whoa.
And it was so bizarre because we were very sleep deprived, which probably doesn't bode well for the credibility of our
Yeah, but
story.
but two people.
But we
Yeah.
were
Saw it.
just like, what was that? Because it wasn't light out yet, right? It was probably 3:34 in the morning.
Yeah,
Because we had about an hour to drive before we got to Rushmore.
I would call it twilight.
Okay.
And it was pretty like dark blue sky, but you could tell the sun was going to rise.
But not green, the fuck?
And then it
Yeah.
got super green, so it just like flashes. And I don't know. Like at first we were like, maybe it was a military thing, like maybe there's something nearby, maybe they're doing some kind of testing.
Kind of like a meteor or
what?
something like that. But it was like so much of the sky. It wasn't just.
And there wasn't one point of light. So that's why we were kind of confused. Because it wasn't like we saw a meteor fall, which meteors
Right.
are green when they fall. But,
Right, but that's like a small, not the whole fucking sky.
right. Exactly. So
Okay.
it was very...
So do you... Maybe like UFOs...
That's what it felt like. It's something like that, right?
Oh, that's cool though. I think that's cool that you guys like saw both of those things together, because it's like things that have happened to me, I've been alone pretty much, except for like a couple ghosty things around this house. Most of the time I've like been alone, and then it's like, but like somebody
There's
was
no
there.
corroboration.
Like,
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, so
That's spooky.
We definitely, that time we were in the car and I think felt a little safer, but it did feel like something we weren't supposed to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so was it
4
while
a.m. People aren't really out.
while you were in
Yeah,
like
in
the
that
thicket of the
area.
Blackwoods was
Yeah.
when this happened?
We're driving through it at this point, too.
Right.
Creepy.
Okay, I don't like that.
See, but that I don't mind. I wouldn't like coming across that shit. I wouldn't mind like seeing some green
beyond
sky
green
shit
sky.
fucking lighting up. I'm just trying to think of if it was like any sort of testing, what the fuck would that have been? Because if it like faded and it wasn't like a flash or like an explosion of some sort, that's just like the oddest.
The coating of the
Way.
sky, like how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
we
coating
didn't
of the-
hear any sound
Like
associated with it.
No, there's
the
no sounds.
coating, like
Mm,
it's like coated with green. Like how does that happen?
that's a weird word to pick, but I get it.
If you could coat with paint,
You could coat with green.
yeah.
Love it. Oh, that's weird. Did anything weird happen to you after that? Did you look it up? Did you like see if anybody had a situation like that around that area?
Yeah, I looked up some like celestial stuff, like if there's anything like supposed to be going on, any like comets or just things that are like supposed to be like obvious and known. Like those nerd communities that just
Right.
that are into that. I don't know, but nothing came up, and then
That's weird.
We, every once in a while, we keep like doing a Google search to see if we can figure out.
Remember that one time the sky turned green?
So what's
Have
up
you seen
with
about
that?
this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
So fucking weird.
So
if
weird.
anybody out there who's listening has had a similar situation or knows what this could have been, please fucking let us know.
Yeah, give us some peace of mind.
Okay.
I feel like these are things that
I like, that's just so bizarre because I've never heard like, sometimes you see a UFO and like that's kind of, people have seen it, but like the whole sky to
Like turning
whole
color.
screen.
Yeah, it was
Weird.
very weird. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff we don't know going on.
What if it was something like the Aurora Borealis that like was like a weird situational.
It doesn't go there.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's pretty far south, yeah.
Well, I don't know what causes the aurora borealis, but like, what if it was like some sort of like phenomenon? I don't know.
Maybe it was more of like a light flash, like not so much
like a
kind of
light
steady.
show.
Yeah, so it wasn't
bizarre.
Yeah, it was like the whole sky just kind of turned bright green for a second.
And then you were like, did I just like glitch out? Like,
I just got put on an FBI watch list.
Honestly.
Listen, we
You're
say
chosen.
so many things on this podcast that I'm like, the Princess Diana, I've been living like in fear since that one came out.
Someone's gonna show up on your door.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't.
Oh my god. Speaking of, someone showed up on my door. He was like a private investigator, and he was like, have you seen like a bald man like around here? And I was like,
yeah,
no.
often.
Should I know something?
Right? Like, what is it? Oh no.
Okay.
When was that?
That was like a couple days ago.
Oh, I hate that for you.
I
Sorry about that.
got shot in my backyard.
When?
Like the like street that's like
Oh,
next
you're
to my
fine.
backyard. Not in my backyard.
Oh, that's
but
what you
it's
said.
technically in my backyard.
Oh God, that's horrifying. All right, let's get back to spooky stuff. Not that that's not spooky, but Jesus Christ, girl. You have that camera, though.
Poor camera.
But I mean, that might be too late if you already shot. Nothing, we'll talk about it later, but...
I want to hear Dennis's. I'm very excited to see.
Yeah,
And it doesn't have to be spooky. It can be like
it's definitely
weird things that have happened to you.
I think it fits. And
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out the best way to tell it. So I do get like kind of either, I want to call them like premonitions, or at least like, I don't know, some foresight, I have to say. Like it's always been that way, and for me for most of my life. And just minor stuff. But my one coworker, she was pregnant and with her second child, and like, you know, sat like 2 cubes down from me and stuff. And basically, like the whole time as she was pregnant, she's like, "Oh, well, you know, when I bring the child in and stuff, I'll bring it to work and show everybody after
Bring
I have
it to work.
Yeah, after I have a baby or whatever." And the entire time, like, I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," but I always had this feeling of like, "You won't." Like I just never saw like
that
past the end of the
happened,
pregnancy,
right?
right? Like
Oh,
it would
shit.
just like never, it would never
happen.
Progress.
yeah, those
Yeah.
things that you're saying, just like I couldn't see that being reality
Yeah.
for some reason. Well, she had a planned cesarean or whatever it was. Like her due date was scheduled, and it was like on a Tuesday. So this is the Monday before she's out. She like took off like that Friday before the whole thing was planned, before she went on maternity leave. And that Monday, I come home and I am absolutely just like fatigued. Just dead tired, I have headaches, and just out of the blue, right? Like I have no other symptoms. I laid on the couch in the bed for like the rest of the evening, just like feeling
like shit.
just like shit.
Right.
So the day of the surgery or whatever, right? On Tuesday, she comes in like in that morning, 11 o'clock, everyone's like all huddled around, whispering, like getting texts from this girl,
God.
and there was like complications that the child was born with a heart defect and
It's okay.
didn't survive like overnight. Basically, they tried to do like emergency surgery, but it was she lost it within the first 24 hours. Yeah, and I was just like,
That's weird.
and like, but then at the same time, I'm just like,
I knew
why
that.
did I know this was going to happen?
Okay.
I just saw this coming the entire time.
Right.
That's so fucking bizarre, especially at the beginning of it, where like
But
she
she's like,
says,
I'm gonna bring it in, and you're
like, no,
basically
you're
no,
not.
you're
You're not.
Right.
And that's the weird thing. Is like I just knew.
and it feels like such a benign thing that like somebody says they're bringing their kid, and it's like, okay, cool, can't wait to see it. But
Yeah.
like for you to have the feeling, not
So it's not gonna happen.
And-
That's
and-
so bizarre.
And then that's that feeling of just like
sick.
doom and sick, right? Like something was just like heavy. Like there was like
True.
this force being like, you would just like this energy sink in the
It was almost
universe.
like you were feeling that while it was happening.
A little bit, right? Or like it was kind of culminating to this end in
Right.
some way. And it felt like a very big pull, right?
Yeah.
Like a big sink, like a hole.
So what do you make of it?
I don't know.
It's just like
just
a
more right
thing.
more than I think I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Has those situations happened to you? Like,
Yeah, like you said, wait, when you were younger, did you have shit like that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
it
that off.
exhibits itself more of like deja vu in
Yeah, I feel
moments,
that.
right? Like I end up here and I was like, I knew I was going to be here, or I had seen it in some way before, or scenarios like it feels like I catch up to a timeline that I'm supposed to be.
in.
Yeah, right. and it's usually reassuring, or it's like just weird moments where I'm like pulled out of it.
Yeah.
It's like when people say things to me in like a certain place, it's just like,
I saw this before.
I knew that you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It's just
here.
Yeah, and
It's
just those weird
bizarre,
synchronizations.
right?
Yeah.
I've had I have deja vu sometimes, and I've had some situations like that. The biggest one I can remember, I was in high school. I got off the bus, and the second my foot hit, it was at the end of the day. So I was the bus on the way home. The second my foot hit the pavement, I just had like this bad feeling about something going on in my house. And I was like, ooh. And I had never felt something like it was almost like depressed in a way that I was feeling like a weirdness that I had never like felt before. And then I started walking home, and then I was like, for some reason I just didn't want to go home. I was like about to go to my friend's house, but usually I had to go home after school. And then I get home, and I mean, I won't get into details, but something like dark had happened. And then like the next day or something, I had this weird feeling about a phone or something, and my mom, like, I ended up getting grounded from my phone or something. So
It's like
that's like the
like
biggest
that, yeah.
one, but the rest of the time, I mean, that's significant, like the child not making it. But I feel like deja vu, at least for me, has been situations that like are like, why the fuck would this have any sort of meaning?
Right.
Like I've had dreams of like numbers, and one morning I woke up and I wrote down the fucking number. I end up going to the mall with my dad and my brother, and the fucking price of whatever stupid thing I bought was the number, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
So it's like stupid random shit like that.
Never like that, like,
Yeah,
you know.
Significant. Usually it manifests itself for him in luck.
that's good.
Yeah, actually, a lot of times, just like vibes and feelings, and just
I call him
like,
the luckiest person I've ever known, because I'm not lucky at all. I never win anything.
Yeah.
Tell him about the work thing that you want.
Oh God.
what thing?
Where you were like, oh, I want this gift. I don't really want the iPad. I don't really want the Kindle. I want the cash. And then
Oh,
you
right.
want-
And then, yeah, like a minute later, like I won this, like just like a work drawing for like the cash. It's just.
You manifested that shit. Look
I
at
mean,
you.
actually, there's a couple of things I manifest. I remember in high school, the day my college applications were due, it started like there was like a small chance of snow, right? And it wasn't snowing very hard. And I was like, do I finish these applications that are due tomorrow, or do I just
Hope that it snows, that you don't have to go.
Yeah, and I said, fuck it. And I said, I think it's going to be a snow day tomorrow. And
And
it
lo
was
and
a snow day,
behold.
yeah. So I had the rest of the weekend to work on my essays. And
So
shit,
you either like foresaw that, or
You
the
just
bitch
make
is
it
a
happen.
witch.
Okay.
That's wild. That's
that.
cool though.
Yeah.
Has anything happened that like you wish, and if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine, but something that you...
I got another one.
Okay, take me there.
This is another coworker one where, and I had been in this job for a brief amount of time, and I think I basically willed her to quit, or just kind of knew it was coming in some way, right? Like it was a frustrating relationship in something, but never like negative, just frustrating a lot of times. And it was just a weird like duplicate responsibility thing that wasn't working out.
Right.
Just
And-
put everything on you.
It just, things that we were trying to figure out how to share and just didn't work.
Oh, where you had to like work together and it
that's
wasn't...
the worst. It's like a group project. They don't work.
Roles weren't defined, right? So it's like, when am I managing this? When are you? And it was just annoying. And I'm like, I've always felt like it was kind of in my way of getting things done. And like, I remember, like, I was just ranting to her one night. I was like, I'm so tired of this. Like, I don't know if I want to stay at this company anymore. I feel like this is just like going nowhere. And then all of a sudden, like the next Monday meeting, they're like, yeah, she got a new job and she's leaving. And I'm like, how did my last straw end up like coinciding with this? Like the moments before, like this had been like, I must have been like feeling like she was going to leave or something.
Yeah,
like
and you
that.
were just like, this is fine. I'll go.
Right, but did you feel that, or did you kind of like help, push that karmatic energy in the world?
It feels again kind of like that hole, that pull of the universe that like all that turmoil that I felt, right? It was like coinciding with this like change that was coming. Like it's feeling riding the wave in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this, you can feel this momentum existing around you in the universe that's leading to something, and it affects me emotionally, but like, or I can sense that something's going to happen.
Right.
And if I may not know what it's going to be, but
I
like,
hate that feeling.
Yeah.
I'm very much like that, where I know something's going to go down, but it's just like I have to deal with that like feeling
Until
of anxiety
something
until it
happens.
happens. And I'm like, this is torture.
right, exactly. But there's just that, and it feels a little bit after the fact. It's like that's what was going on.
Right.
She was already gearing up to leave. She had secretly, like on the day she took vacation, and she had going for interviews and things, and then.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that is just like reading the energy in the room in a different way, like interpreting like what's being put out there.
And that's what it feels like. It's not so much the foresight, but just feeling that momentum a little stronger around you, that something's occurring, that even though I don't know what it is, it's just being in tune with it. Yeah.
You're very rarely shocked that something happened.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I'm constantly shocked. So
I'm like that kazoo guy where he's like,
oh, yeah. Who are you? Me every day. Question. Have you ever heard of the term indigo children?
I vaguely.
Do you, or when you were younger, did you have sensitivities to like frequencies and or like televisions, especially big tube televisions or like microwaves or radios or anything that you can recall?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
No,
we will definitely, we should talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Also remind me, because I don't want to get into it here, but something similar, very similar just happened to me. So I'll tell you.
I saw that on your face.
But also another thing was when you were saying that, I forgot. I was working on something similar happened to me. I don't know if I manifested it, but this was like a shit show. I was working on a film with this girl who will be unnamed, and I was assistant directing, and she was difficult to work with for no reason. She wasn't an actress. She was on the crew, and she was very difficult to work with in the sense like that. She was just being an asshole. Like I asked her if she wanted like food from the crafty table, and she literally looked at me and then turned around like she was better than me, and I was just like, yes or no, like you're welcome for asking you.
A sandwich? No? Yes?
Yes. And then so for the rest of the day, she was just kind of riding her high horse, and I was at my breaking point at the very, very end of the day. I texted or I called Sarah. I remember you were the only person I started venting to about this. Was probably 2 years ago, and I popped off about this girl, and I said, I hope she does something so stupid in front of everybody and everyone knows it was her, and like I hope she
was,
fucks
unfit
up
for the job, I think, as well.
But she like thought she was like high and mighty. So next day, so what she was like a part of the lighting situation. So she made a lot of choices of where lights go to make the movie look pretty, right? So we are in the heart of Philadelphia, and we're in an apartment building that just was built, and we were filming in the model room. So, and it's very specific, like the art direction, like you take pictures of how the room was, and when we leave, it's exactly how it fucking was. So it's like everything's super meticulous. She puts a light in a spot that maybe it shouldn't have been, and the fucking sprinklers go off in the entire floor. So not just our room, but everybody who actually lives in this building. God. Have you ever seen sprinklers go off before?
Yeah.
I hadn't. Holy shit, they started tearing through the walls. That's how powerful. They got to put out a fucking fire. They started like tearing through the walls. It was like gross. Like it was newly renovated, but the building itself was older. So it was like at first rusted water, and it smelled, and everything was just getting drenched. We had to get like boards and stuff to put in the doorway. Literally, I was in my Doc Martens, and they came like up to the laces. There was like a good like 3 or 4 inches, and there was a new bakery that was below on the ground floor then it started flooding to. It was so bad. It was awful, and it ended up being this girl, and everybody fucking knew it. So I texted Sarah. I was like, "Ooh, shit! I don't know if I manifested this. Like, my bad if I did. But like, I guess that's like the only way I can relate in a situation like that. But like, wow."
Yeah.
That happens to me frequently. I frequently like can feel things are happening. I do it a lot with pregnant women. I can always guess their gender.
You do.
And it's like
you do that.
It's not like oh, you're gonna have a boy. It's like I see like a blue aura, or I'll see like a pink aura, and that's how I know. And
wow, that's not very like open-minded of you, blue and pink.
I mean, like,
really.
I honestly like it's
Let's go with the yellow and green palette.
It's a 50-50 chance, so like not that big of a deal.
I know. Well, who knows?
Right.
But that's interesting that you like you have the more openness to the energy around you. I definitely think a lot more people are more susceptible. I think as humans we definitely have that, but we like do things to
like say that it's like I don't know. I feel like people don't talk about it.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like weird, and it's like,
no one's gonna
you're
be like,
psychic.
oh yeah, it's definitely because you're an indigo child. Like this is great. People are gonna be like, oh, just a coincidence. Moving on. Like,
right.
I don't share the specialty.
I don't believe in like coincidences.
I don't either.
I agree though, and I think it's like it's that sensitivity to that around you, right? And like the more you kind of having this happen so many times to me over my
It's
life,
more than that. It has to be something.
I was gonna say you notice it more often then because it keeps happening, and then you're almost like you can kind of flex it like a muscle almost, right? Like you can recognize it a little bit.
If you feel like something bad is gonna happen to me, let a girl know.
Yeah,
just let me know. Thank you.
It's interesting because I think that historically a lot of those feelings have been contextualized within like a religious setting. So you would explain that with a miracle or prophecy or a god-like something.
Also, what the fuck, Nostradamus? Like, what the fuck's up with that?
Right, okay. And everyone's like, it's fine.
It's fine. Everything is predicted. But I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but exactly that, right? There's historically been kind of a scapegoat for feelings like that. And when you kind of take those feelings outside of the context of like a religious environment, then you have...
to kind of
you kind of have to figure out like what that means for your life and where that energy is coming from, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like separate totally, but it does, at least in our experience, mean that we have to think about it a little bit more. Right?
Yeah, like there's a reason that you felt some type of way, and then when you feel some type of way about something, especially if it's small, it's like, why am I feeling some type of way about
that's
this?
all you're like hooked on for the entire day because you know that this has happened before, so you kind of wait for the result.
Hooked on phonics.
Okay. It's funny because my gut's always wrong. Like if I'm like, I should pick something. Let me pick this. It's always the wrong choice.
Oh no, Hilary.
Standardized testing's a nightmare for me.
Oh Jesus.
Guys, I'm saying it's not.
So well, I mean, now you can take your gut feeling and then do what it isn't
There's
telling you
three
to
other
do.
choices.
Okay, that's true.
I really feel that.
No, you're right. I should, if I feel one way, I should probably go the other direction.
Oh God.
Like
Okay, but then you're gonna be in like a life or death situation, and you're gonna be like, "There's a killer in the house. I'm gonna stay."
True. Go up the stairs, not out the door.
There you go. There's a fire in the house. I'm gonna get on the roof. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, have you ever heard of the 2-sentence horror stories? It's like a CW show.
Yeah.
Really great. It's on Netflix, the whole first season.
Yeah.
10/10 would recommend.
Kiko was telling me to go check it out, so I'm gonna have to check it out.
I want to watch those. I've been watching the OG Goosebumps. They're also on Netflix.
Oh, of course.
Carly Beth.
Haunted
Mask. It's so weird how that changes, you know?
Do you have any more stories?
I'm tapped for now. I think.
Okay.
As far as those like good ones that are like. Otherwise, it's little shit. I can't really recall right now.
All good. We have some questions that we asked everybody who was a guest last year that we're going to ask you now.
Have you ever played with a Ouija board?
Yes.
No.
Wow. Hilary, have you ever had any weird experience?
Yes. Anything happen?
Nothing ever happened with a Ouija board. But
were you younger?
Yeah, usually like 14, 15. I think we played with him in college a little bit too. Mm-hmm. Actually, there was one night in the sorority house that we played. So I was in a sorority in college, and it was in this big kind of like old sorority mansion, and we all slept on this thing called a sleeping porch. So everyone has a room with a closet and a sink and a mirror, but you sleep on a porch. With a bunch of bunk beds, and there was a rumor about the woman in white that would walk around the sorority house. And so we would sit kind of on the main floor. There was like a big staircase that went downstairs to like how you go out of the house, and then there was like a big landing on the second floor where we would all sit. We do our hair before we go out, or we would whatever. But we came back one night, and pretty much everyone was in bed. It was pretty late. It was like 1 a.m. And then there was one girl that was like, let's do it. And we had done it a couple of times before, but everyone was like, let's summon the woman in white. And also, there was she had a little boy.
Oh, God.
And so we were like playing with it, and we didn't see anything that night, but it was like, we got like super spooked. So we just put it away and like ran to bed, and we were like...
freaking yourself.
We're like, okay, we're all going up together because we were super scared.
Wait, oh my God, that's so amazing though that you were able to sleep with all these people because you never had to be scared.
You wouldn't be alone.
Truly though, you would like go on the and you're like, okay, I'm safe here,
right?
Because there's so many people. But then like the following weekend, 3 people thought they saw either the woman in white or the little boy.
You fucking summoned that.
And
shit.
It was like, oh, maybe we should know.
Was it just that one weekend?
No, it happened multiple times throughout that year.
You definitely should have. Did you close out like properly?
No.
Okay.
See?
You left that portal
and
open.
that was the running like joke because we were like, sorry, that was our fault.
So, you didn't do anything to close it after that?
No,
you weren't
we didn't.
You just left that door open.
Is that important? Like, I didn't know that was part
Yeah,
of it.
you have to close it out. You have to
Yeah.
be like, I'm done now, or like.
Yeah, because whether you believe in the board itself, like the actual ritual of closing the connection, I mean, now it can be argued, one, if it's real or not, or two, like if a spirit would actually listen to you. But I think it's very important to have the power to like close the connection and be like, okay, we're done here, and like you go your way, we'll go ours. But Hilary, I guess, is just going to bed. If you want to come
I
on.
opened the goosebump briefcase and there are just papers everywhere.
And the dog. Fucking classic. Okay, next question. Are you superstitious?
I'd say yeah, just a little inherently from some of these other things. Just like, I don't, not like ritualistically, like, but just that's skepticism that goes along with it.
Right.
Like that willingness to believe.
Right. Like, first, what about you?
I'm not.
No. But like, if you see a ladder, you're not gonna like walk under it. That's dangerous anyway.
Yeah. Like,
Are you gonna like split a pole?
yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to go out of my way to do something weird, but like, if I break a mirror, I'm not going to freak out about it.
Right.
Yeah.
What about salt over the shoulder? You do that?
No.
Okay.
I do
so
that. But that's mostly because I just have extra salt in my hands.
Like, if it works,
I use a pinch bowl, so it just goes over the shoulder afterwards.
Okay. Can't argue that. Next question.
You're in a horror movie. Are you the final girl, the first to die, the comedic relief, the skeptic, the smart one, or the killer? I think I know who you are.
I want to hear who you think you guys are, and then I want to hear who you think each other are.
Let's do each other first. Do me first, baby.
Okay, do me.
I can see two things. I was like, you're either the killer or you're the final girl.
I'm definitely not the final girl. If I'm not the killer, I'm not surviving, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think you would be the skeptic. But I think somehow you might also be the final girl.
I feel like I'd be the final girl, actually.
Yeah, I think you would
like,
definitely survive.
Yeah.
Because you'd be logical about it and your premonitions would just get you there.
Right.
But like I'd definitely die in the process.
Just riding the vibe, you know.
So you think you're the final? Who do you think you would be?
Oh, I'm probably the one that gets killed while I'm like on the toilet.
Would you be the first one?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I would say, Hilary, I think you would be the smart one, and I do think, Dennis, you would be the final girl.
I think she'd be the comedic relief.
You think?
Yes, I think she'd be cracking jokes all over the place.
I think
thank you, I'm very funny.
I think you're funny, but I think you would be more like
the smart one,
yeah. Especially Nancy Drew, the Nancy Drew in you.
Obsessed with
You would
Nancy
like
Drew.
you would have like all those fucking things like that dude from fucking Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes,
You would
Lemony
like
Snicket.
you would have like that knowledge.
Do
in your
y'all
head.
know how that ends? Have you read the books?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
I didn't
I
read
met
like the
Daniel
end of it.
They
Handler.
made us read them in school.
I met Daniel Handler, and he is.
Chelsea Handler's brother.
You would.
Is it?
No.
Oh.
Did you know he's a gay vegan?
Oh.
He sure is.
Love that.
And I met him in Sutton Valley, Idaho. And I couldn't say anything. I was just like, "You're Daniel Handler," and he's
Wait,
like,
hold on. What did you go to like a meet and greet, or did you just cross paths in fucking
we were just
Idaho?
in a bookstore in Sun Valley, and he was there.
Oh, and he was okay.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
he was going to be doing a reading later because he has other books.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's written like some weird incest stuff.
I love that for him.
But his pen name obviously is Lemony Snicket, and and I was obsessed with those books. So you finished them? You read the end?
I did not finish them. I
They
actually
made
took.
us read them in school.
I remember I had the book and I carved it out and I used to put my weed in there in high school.
Yes.
That was like my secret. I was like, no one will know.
Oh,
it's
they
in
teach
this
you good
book.
words though. Penultimate. I mean, come on.
See, that's things you have in your brain.
It's such a good series. I love the series they're doing on Netflix with.
I just read it.
Oh, next question. Hi, me. I'm a great host. If you were given the death penalty, what would your last meal be?
My mom's lasagna.
Oh wow, that's
so
like
cute.
very. I've never heard that.
Was that sarcasm?
No, I really have never heard that. Like no one has been like my mom's.
My mom's lasagna. That's
like,
cute. What
so
would you
wholesome.
do?
It's
That's
so
it? Just
good.
your mom's lasagna? Any beverage?
Probably like a whole fifth of whiskey.
Yeah. Can they give you? I don't think they can give you alcohol. I don't think so.
Well,
I've never
changing
seen
the
it.
rules.
Oh, right.
I'm
like
about
that.
to die. You're gonna give me anything I damn well please.
Okay.
But you might have murdered like
Maybe
a
a
whole...
very nice bottle of wine, like a vintage.
I love that.
I don't know. I don't eat when I get stressed out, so I imagine I would.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to eat it all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just do it already.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend you're not stressed out. You're not really on death row.
Maybe just pick a meal that you like to eat frequently.
I like cheesecake. Yeah. Cheesecake would be a good last
Oh,
meal.
poppin'.
Yeah.
You don't want anything with it? Like you can have like a Whopper.
No.
Just the cheesecake. All right.
no,
I'll
it's not
fucking
good with
take
BK.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd like to bang one more time.
that. Can I please? Yeah, but, oh my god. Wait, that was last. That was last year. We had a guest on Nelson, and his last meal he said was pussy. So
Yeah.
Oh,
you can have
I
that too.
like this. Hey,
okay, I love that.
Eat it up.
Okay, which urban legend scares you most or scared you the most as a child?
Bloody Mary.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it as a kid. I would get 2 and be like, nope, I'm done.
I'm good.
Yep,
Sorry.
Yep.
yeah, Bloody Mary's a good one.
Hands
That was the
down.
one that we played so much. I did it a lot, but I would get really.
Oh, I never
scared.
did. I was not that brave.
I did it many a time.
I never
We would have
saw
been good
anything.
friends if we were
We
children.
sure would have.
I never saw anything. So.
I would see shit,
Fuck
but I
that
think it was
bitch,
just
Mary.
like my head.
Well,
Listen,
it's
you
just
gotta-
dark and you're looking into a mirror.
and your brain starts
in a
playing
dark
tricks.
bathroom.
It's just
Yeah.
creepy.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get past like the 2 or whatever. Just did it 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Never did it. Just.
So I grew up in Sasquatch territory. Like everything is named Sasquatch where I'm from. Like it's the woods. There's a whole huge group of like Sasquatch hunters. And I grew up camping, right? My parents are mountaineers. So we would be in the woods and I was always afraid I was going to come across Sasquatch, which is
Okay.
stupid because I should have been afraid I was going to come across an actual cougar, which are living there in
Right, and
in
proven
the
to
mountains.
be. And,
Yeah, but I was scared I would come across Sasquatch, but
Did you ever see not your average Bigfoot movie?
No.
Okay, so it's this little documentary. It's very, very low budget, but it's about these 2 guys in like rural Ohio, kind of like near West Virginia, that are professional Sasquatch hunters, right? And he follows these 2 guys, and you talk about like mumbling, like we're going to find some Sasquatch out here in the woods, right?
Yeah.
And they have like calls, and they're part of a community, and they always like send footage. And he's like, he'll hold up a picture of like the woods, right? And it's like there are 1, 2, 3. There's 5 Sasquatch in that picture right there.
Where?
Right? And he's just like,
So
here's 3 in this one. It's like, oh, I got tons of documentation, just all the shadows in the woods. And he's just like calling out, that's a whole family of Sasquatch. And then it turns out to like how these guys are friends, but they fall out over some like
Sasquatch related
drama, right? And it's
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
subculture
on that.
infighting is one of my favorite things.
and they go to like a meetup of Sasquatch and like paranormal, like
Where
like,
can I watch this film?
used to be on Netflix a couple years ago. So just maybe want to edit that out. Just showed me.
It's so fun. I'll edit
Just
it.
do it like he cussed.
Yeah, I usually do. I'll beep it out.
He showed me it, and it's incredible. They're just the kookiest little people. And it's
I love that,
it's a
though.
little
Interesting.
5 in this. That got me. I was like,
Oh my
I
god!
don't think so.
So, Heather, did you like think you saw anything like that when you lived out there, or did you just?
Yeah, but it was probably just like a bear.
That's okay. That's true. That's true. We're running out of time, so Sarah, why don't you pick one last one, and then I'll pick one last one. I don't remember we haven't looked at these questions since last year, so give me a second.
Would you sleep inside of a coffin for a night?
What are you giving me?
Money.
Sure.
Okay.
You didn't even ask how much.
I know. $5.
That's true.
You already said you would.
Yeah, I think I'm a yes on that too. I think that's okay.
Do
For
it.
$5?
Yeah, just in general, I don't think it'd pay me either. Just
Okay.
to, like, I don't think it would bother me that much.
Perfect.
Okay, my question, very basic, but I think it'd be a good way to sum it up. What is your favorite part of Halloween? If you had to pick one. I mean, you can list your favorites, but I need like one solid gold medal winner.
Like if Halloween was made up of this one thing, you would be satisfied.
Just the vibe. Like the spooky vibe of Halloween. Just the excuse to do all of the things.
Spooky things.
Yeah.
I love it. Are you a big Halloween fan?
Me?
Yeah.
kind of by proxy through her.
But I was gonna say it seems like she has like a gun under the table. Like, tell him, sweetie. It's my favorite holiday.
I enjoy it. I'm not opposed in any way. I'm pretty cool with it.
What is your favorite part about it? Do you like the candy?
I would say the fun size candy bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fun size.
There's yeah, all the little ones. That was always my favorite part of Halloween.
Oh my god, yeah.
You need double the candy.
Yeah.
And you have like an excuse to fucking do it. Follow-up question. How do we feel about candy corn?
I hate it.
Hate it.
Always loved it.
Ew,
I love it too.
No.
I
know.
Ever since a kid, I would eat.
I love it.
Yeah, I've
You
never bothered me.
They make me feel sick though.
What are you guys,
Oh, totally.
sociopaths?
After enough of it.
Yeah.
So I don't like
wax.
Okay.
I like the candy corns. I don't like the little pumpkin ones.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, I can only have like a couple, and then I get sick.
Dennis will eat a bag.
Yeah, I can eat. Ton of
Dennis,
candy
don't
corn.
do that. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Dennis and Hilary, for being here with us and sharing your stories.
So much fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
And listeners, thank you guys for listening. If you guys have stories, we are still accepting them, and can't guarantee we're going to read them, but we might. So send your stories to odditiespodcast@gmail.com. Please do not DM them to us. And the more details, the better. Okay. That would be fantastic. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, she was ready to log the fuck off. She said bye.